What's up everybody, Rob here. This is just a real quick video that I'm putting out there. I'm hoping to make this under 10 minutes. I probably will fail, but that's just me. I've been very busy around here recently, so I haven't been able to film. I have like a bunch of scripts ready to go. I just have to actually do it. And this is just something that popped in my head a little while ago, and I figured I'd share my thoughts with all of you. And it has to do with writing mistakes or writing flaws in writing, and it has to do specifically with Deus Ex Machina. Now, generally speaking, Deus Ex Machina is seen as a bad thing to be avoided, but I don't think that's necessarily the case, and I'm about to explain why. Now, for those who don't know, Deus Ex Machina literally means God from the machine. It is basically a solution to a problem in which the characters in question did not seek out, they did not expect, and just sort of happens. And that is, generally speaking, considered a bad thing. It's, God from the machine, like literally a god. This was I think that was popularized in ancient Greece, if I'm not mistaken. A god comes down and solves a problem for the characters of a play without the characters putting any input in. I think Socrates complained about how that's kind of a bad idea, and that's that's bad writing. The reasoning behind this being that the point of a plot of a story is for the characters to overcome a problem. That is actually the most satisfying endings, or the most satisfying plots are for there to be a problem, and the protagonists to overcome this problem through their own abilities, through their own skill, and their own resources. And when there's an outside source that just comes out of nowhere, well, it defeats the purpose of all the struggles they've been through. There's really no point to it. So, generally speaking, if you are a writer yourself, or if you're a critic of writing, if there's no Deus Ex Machina, that is actually a good thing. So if you are writing and you don't put any Deus Ex Machina in, awesome. That's fine, you don't need to put it in, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think the problem occurs is when the Deus Ex Machina solves a plot problem rather than having some other purpose. So if it just solves the plot, well, that defeats the purpose of the plot, is to overcome problems. Therefore, that is a flaw in the writing, because basically you just invalidated all the struggles of the characters up to that point, so you screwed up there. But I think it could be a good thing, or at least it serves a purpose if it solves some other role within the functioning of a story. It's either used to develop the characterization of a character, to improve the world building, or to possibly introduce another character, or possibly anything else, basically as long as it does not solve the plot. Now, I'll give you an example in fantasy literature, in the Wheel of Time series. And some spoilers for the Wheel of Time, although the books came out, I don't know how many, this I think was book 5, so that came out like 20-something years ago, so if you haven't read it by now, well, I don't know what to tell you. But in any case, you have two of the protagonists. You have Rand and Matt. They're walking through a desert. I'm not going to get into why, it's just complicated. All of the Wheel of Time is complicated, but just whatever. They're walking through the desert, and they're about to die of thirst. Now, Rand is a magic user, so he then, out of nowhere, he conjures up water from the ground. I think there was a spring or like an aquifer underwater, and he conjures it up, and now there's a spring of water there. They drink from the water, they don't get dehydrated. Now, in literal sense, that is Deus Ex Machina, because there was a problem, and then out of nowhere, because Rand was actually very new to his powers at the time. He didn't know he could do this. He just did it because he just felt he could do it. So, is that Deus Ex Machina? Yeah, in the most technical sense of the term. However, it wasn't to solve the problem of them about to die of thirst. It's not like, okay, oh, we're not dying of thirst anymore. Okay, let's move on. And that's the end of it. The whole point of that was to show Rand increasing in his powers, because he never did anything remotely like this up to this point before. So it's showing, it's world building, it's developing his powers, it's developing his characterization that he could do this sort of thing. But also it improves the world building as well, because his friend Matt, who's not a magic user, is completely freaked out by this. Now, he's grateful that he's not going to die of thirst, but at the same time, if you're familiar with the Wheel of Time series, he is kind of freaked out because male magic users have a habit of kind of having mental breakdowns and rearranging things, like buildings with people inside of it. And if you get enough of them together, they kind of rearrange continents. So male magic users, in a lot of societies, are just outright killed. But otherwise, they're dealt with in various ways. But basically, there's a great deal of suspicion and mistrust around this, and now his life is being saved by a male magic user. So it just reinforces this, yes, I'm grateful that you saved me. At the same time, you're a male magic user. This is weird as hell. And, all the implications of that. So it reinforces all of those things. So it's not about the plot. So it actually, in this case, Deus Ex Machina actually works, because what you're doing is you're showing it's not there to solve a plot problem, it's there to reinforce Rand's characterization, it's to reinforce his abilities, and it's also to improve the world building and reinforce the fact that male magic users, there's something going on there. Like, so basically it serves purposes beyond the plot. Another example would be, this is not a specific example, but say you have characters that are traveling around and they're attacked by some creature, and then another character comes in and rescues them. That's Deus Ex Machina. It's a solution to a problem that they did not seek. Well, okay, that's not the point, though. The point is not them not being attacked and then getting rescued. The point is now you're introducing this cool character who just swoops in and, you know, shoots off guns, or, you know, stabs this thing in the eye, or whatever it is, however they kill the monster, whatever it is. Basically, the point is you're introducing this new character into the story. That's the point of it. It's not about the plot, it's about the characterization. So if any of you are writers out there, if any of you have, say, a script of some kind, you know, a play or a novel or video game, comic book, whatever it is, and you're trying to avoid Deus Ex Machina, that's generally a good idea. However, if you want to include it in some ways like that, it's really, I don't see that it's that big of a deal. Like, some people are just very hardcore, like, no Deus Ex Machina ever under any circumstance. I'm actually fine with it under the circumstances of not solving a plot problem. Make sure that it's there to serve another purpose, whether that be characterization, world building, introducing new characters, new abilities, stuff like that, but not there necessarily to solve a plot issue. So that is it for this video. Really short, really simple, just off the cuff, going for it. Any case, please hit the like and subscribe button. More videos will be coming out whenever I get around to it. Have a good day, or don't have a good day. Your adults have any kind of day you want. See you later.